Hi everyone and welcome back. Corsair decided to enter the party of the LCD all-in-one coolers, and today we are going to have a look at the new H150i Elite LCD, going through the installation process, some simple and basic cooling tests, and also some iCue settings. Okay, this all-in-one comes in this elegant black box where we have highlighted some of the features and some of the dimensions info too. So let me go quickly on that. The length of the radiator is 397 millimeters and the height is 27 millimeters. The dimensions of the pump, including the screen, are 73 millimeters each side, and the total weight is 48 millimeters. Included there is also a commander core, which is similar to the Commander Core XT, which I have reviewed in another video, so I will leave the link in the description down below. And there are included also 3 ml 120 RGB Elite fans. So let me unbox it quickly. Okay, for the full manual you can scan this QR code here and download the full manual of the all-in-one cooler. And let's check what's inside. Okay, here we have some other radiator details. The length is 397 millimeters. The width is 120 and the height is 27 millimeters. The tube length is 380 millimeters. Okay guys, as we can see there are the AMD retentions here and also the Intel backplate here. The screws included in this bag are enough for mounting the pump and the 3 fans, even with a push-pull setup if you want to. Okay guys, here we got the Commander Pro. You can connect up to 6 PWM fans here and also the proprietary RGB cable here. And in this part here goes the connector from the IO pump. Here we have the SATA power and also the USB header. And in case if you have one of those temperature sensors, you can connect it also here. Okay guys, included there are also 3 of these ML 120 RGB Elite fans. They have a standard dimension of 120 millimeter and 120 millimeter and 25 millimeters here. This is the PWM cable for connecting to the Commander Core, and also this is the proprietary RGB cable. These are magnetic levitation fans, so should be silent. Corsair claims that in max speed it should be 30 dB, but I will try to measure that during testing. One thing I don't like of these fans is this pre-applied tape here with the logo, and also here, as someone else have pointed out, there is this glue for taking the cables all together here, so I don't see the point of this. This should be a high-end fan, so this shouldn't be here. But the nice thing is that has anti-vibration rubber here, so it shouldn't be that much noise. Okay guys, just to compare it, I have an QL 120 RGB fan here, which the price tag of this one should be similar, despite they are 2 different fans, of course. Then this is a magnetic levitation, this is a fluid bearing fan. As we can see here, this have this pre-applied logo here, which I find it would be nice, and this has this tape, let me say, here. And if we go on the back to check the cable management, as we can see here is a completely different cable management instead of this one. These are supposed to be high-end fans. I don't know why they are missing a little bit of quality here, but that's it. Okay guys, here we got the pump, which is from Coolit. Usually most of the brands are using Azatec, but Corsair in this case is using a Coolit pump. So the cold plate, the dimension of the cold plate are 56 and 56. Here we can check there is a pre-applied thermal paste. In case you don't have any spare thermal paste, you will find it already pre-applied. Here we have the retention bracket for the Intel motherboards. I will change that because I'm going to install it on an AMD motherboard. Here we have the cables for the connection. One thing that I find really strange is this one wired pin connection, which is amazingly fragile. I think you have to pay a little bit of attention when you install it. Here we have the other cables. This is the data cable who goes in Commander Core, and this is the USB data cable. The screen has an IPS display with a size of 2.1 inches and a resolution of 480 and 480. With a refresh rate of 30 FPS. The brightness is 600 nit and the colors are 8-bit RGB. Okay guys, let's install the fans. Depending on which side there are the tubes, you might need the cables to go down or up on this side. The screws we are going to need is this one. Just simply screw here. And in case we want to do a push-pull system, we are going to use the same screws with the washers here, and the cables has to go on the opposite side. Okay guys, before installing the pump, we have to remove the default AMD retention bracket here. I suggest you guys to remove first one of those and then the other one. And then we have to use these screws here that came in this bag here. Let's install the screw. Remember this side goes down on the bracket. Now we can remove the second default AMD bracket and do the same as we have done here. Okay guys, first thing first, before installing everything, I'm going to remove the LCD display here. You have to slide it up, easy. It has 4 magnets here, so it's really easy to remove it and install it back. So let me get this out. As we can see, it comes with an Intel bracket pre-installed, so I'm going to remove that and install the AMD. You can just slide up easily, then install the AMD bracket. Pay attention to don't touch the pre-applied thermal paste. The other one, same way. And here we go. We are ready to install it on the motherboard. Now guys, you can decide either to install the radiator and then after the pump, or first the pump and then after the radiator. Usually I prefer to install first the pump because I find it to be more easier to install it instead of the radiators. Then the radiators I will install it after here. Okay, I will leave the pre-applied thermal paste and install it like so. Okay guys, after installing the water block, we have to install the radiator on the case. Remember to use these small screws with a washer. And that's it. Remember to don't over tighten, okay? Otherwise you're going to break the radiator here. Next we have to install all the fan cables into the commander core, starting from the PWM cable and the RGB cable. And the data cables goes here. And then you have to connect the header to one of the USB 2.0 ports. After installing the water block, we can install the display like so, just pushing down. Then this cable, we have to install it on the CPU fan header here. Okay guys, once installed for all the settings and checking all the temps and so on, we have to download and install the iCue app from Corsair. So once you connect it for the first time, probably when you open the iCue program, it's going to ask you to update the firmware of the LCD. So before going through all the settings, I suggest you guys to update the firmware. So here we got our H150i Elite LCD. You can click on the icon and enter to the setups. If you click on lighting setup, it's going to run a wizard for setting up all the fans and all the lighting. As we can see here, it's showing all our 3 ml fans. I have one additional fan connected to the commander core, so I would not consider this one. Then you can run a wizard and then you can click next. Run auto detection, I suggest you, because it's going to detect which fans are connected and setting them up accordingly. Okay guys, if we move to the ring section, here we can select what colors and what effects we want to those RGB lighting here. So for example, sequential or color shift, rainbow. For example, a static color if you wish. Let me move it, for example, green or red, whatever. If we move to this section here we can change the fan lightnings and also the effects. It's basically the same as the ring, so we have all those effects here, the custom lightning, so we can choose plenty of effects. I will leave sequential for now. And here we have the hardware lightning. It means that whatever the iCue program is closed, all the settings will be stored in the commander core and will be applied to all the devices. I usually leave in sequential, but you can choose one of these presets here and also customize it. In this case, it's also for static color, so I don't know, you can choose whatever color you want. We'll leave it sequential for now. And here we have the screen setup. So here you can choose what you want to see inside the screen. There are different presets like concentric, single bar, fade. You can even choose an image here, so you can choose an image or a GIF. If you choose blank, it will kind of turn off the display if you want to turn it off. We have also the clock here, which is nice. Usually I prefer the dual bar so I can see the temp of the CPU and the temp of the GPU. Let me check it here. So from this drop list here, you can choose one of the 100 sensors that are here. So I'm going to choose the GPU temp 1, which in my case is the core temp, because if you choose the GPU temp 2 and the GPU temp 3, The number 2 is the, if I'm not wrong, is the memory temp. Let me check that. Okay, yes, it should be the memory temp. So if you choose the number 2, it should be the memory temp. Let me check it quickly. Yes, it seems so. And the hotspot temps should be the memory temp number 3. Let me double check that. Okay, right. I will leave the GPU temp 1, which is the core temp. And if we move to the hardware screen here, it's basically doing the same as the hardware lightning. So it means that whatever the iCue program is closed, it will maintain all the settings here. So in this case, is the default setting is for the liquid temp, or you can choose a GIF here, or an image or a GIF. And here in the cooling setup, we have all the fans and the pump preset. So you can choose between quiet, balanced, and extreme, or variable speed. Usually here I tend to leave it on quiet, but you can choose even balanced. It doesn't change that much, honestly. It's probably 200 or 300 RPM. I will leave it on quiet at the moment. Here we have the alerts in case you want to set up some alerts, and these are the settings in case you want to update the firmware and so on. Alright, let's move back in the cooling section. Here we can decide the fan speed and the speed of the pump, as we were saying. Here we have some presets. I've created one custom preset, but you can choose one of these: quiet, balanced, extreme, which honestly I don't use that much because they tend to be a little bit too much aggressive. So I set up my custom curve. You can choose between fixed RPM, fixed percentage, or custom curve depending on the temps. So for example, I choose point temp at 30 degrees, point speed 25% of the fans. So you can choose whatever you prefer. So that's all for this iCue setup, and now let's go and test the cooling performance. Okay guys, I'm going to quickly check the temps. I'm going to run Cinebench R23. I've set up a custom preset of 50% of the fixed speed for all the fans, and the pump is in balanced mode, which in my opinion is a good compromise between cooling and also noise. For this test, as a CPU, I'm using the AMD Ryzen 7 5800X, all stock settings, and the case is a Corsair 7000D Airflow. And the room temp is between 19 degrees and 20 degrees. So let me run the test, and after we will check the temps. Okay guys, as we can see, we have more or less 75 degrees on the multi-core session and 63 degrees more or less on the single core section. These results and these temps can of course change depending on your CPU, depending on your configurations, depending if you have enabled the PB on the AMD, or if you are overclocking or not your CPU. This also can depend also on the fan curve and the speed. In this case, I choose a fixed at 50%, which in my opinion the noise is more than acceptable. So you might choose a different fan curve speed. And also the pump, I leave it on balanced, which should be okay. Also the pump, I leave it on balanced, which should be more than okay for the heat transfer from the water block to the radiator. So that's all for the review of this H150i Elite LCD all-in-one cooler. It has some really good performances, despite the 5800X used for this bench, which is known to be crazy in temps. It comes with 3 ML120 RGB fans, which are silent enough to help maintaining low temps. Included, there is also the commander core, that once installing the fans, you can use the additional 3 ports remaining with other fans, but nothing is perfect. And this applies also to the H150i Elite LCD. The fans, which technically are okay, have a couple of things missing, like the sticker with a logo instead of something integrated like the QL series fans. Considering the price, they should have included that. Then the cable management, let's say, it's not what you should expect in a product like this. The single wired cable for the pump is something I don't get why isn't running inside the cover of the other cables. For the rest, this all-in-one cooler is performing well. The fans are silent, the pump is silent also, even at high speeds. It has a well done and stunning display that you can customize at your needs. The Elite LCD has its price, which is almost crossing the border of an entry-level custom loop, which maybe can provide a little better thermal performances, but then you have to do some maintenance on that. The installation process of a custom loop isn't that much easy as this H150i Elite LCD. I do recommend this all-in-one cooler. If you are building a new PC or planning to switch to an all-in-one, then this Corsair H150i Elite LCD might be a good choice. You are going to have good temps and also some cool features, like the display RGB fans. If you enjoyed this video, I would much appreciate if you hit the like button, share the video, subscribe to the channel for more content like this, and turn on the notification. Thanks for watching.